Good morning, everybody, and happy Saturday. I am Coach Ray. Today is a stick mobility class. Thank you for joining me. So for today's class, we are going to need 2 long sticks, okay? I also have a pad and a bench. We're going to use the bench to get into a bow and arrow, a seated bow and arrow stretch, okay? We're going to really get into that QL, that lateral line. So for the strength training for today, we are going to do a core base drill. We're going to do an external rotation shoulder drill as well from a standing position. And we're also going to do a hip drill. Okay, so today's going to be a fun one. So let's go ahead and grab our 2 sticks. Let's go through our mobility warm-ups. Okay. So we're going to start with the feet and ankles first. And so what I want to do here, I want to take a horse stance. I want to take a stance as wide as is comfortable, but typically shoulder width or a little bit wider is good. I want to have both sticks in line with my mid toe. Okay, and I want to have my hands at roughly about chest height. And I'm only using the sticks as a point of balance. So you want to make sure the sticks are about roughly 8 to 10 inches away from the front of the line of the toes here, okay? If you have 1 stick, you can do this with 1 stick, okay? So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna squat down, allow my knees to track forward. I wanna keep my spine up tall, keep my hips under my spine. I'm gonna bring both heels up. Hold, make sure all 5 toes are in contact with the floor. And then I want to come back down slow and controlled, and I don't want the height of my torso to change. So bring those heels up again, all the way up, as high as you can. Then down nice and slow and controlled. Good. Bring the heels up again. Keep it nice and controlled. Good. Down, nice and slow. Excellent, let's go a few more. Heels up. Good, breathe. Heels down. Good, 2 more. Heels up. Hold that position. Good, down. Let's go 1 more time here. Heels up. Good. And down. Good. Go on, relax for a second here. Now we're going to get into the lateral tilts or lateral shifting. And then we're going to go from lateral shifting to ankle circles, okay? So I'm going to have 1 foot forward. I'm going to go in a slightly staggered stance, okay? So if you're looking from the side, this is the stance that I'm at, okay? It's only a small difference here, right? And so what I'm gonna do here, and actually I'll stay in the side profile so you can get a good view here. So my right foot is forward, left foot is back. I wanna keep my entire left foot in contact with the floor here, slightly shift my weight just a little bit towards that right foot. I'm gonna bring that heel up, and I'm gonna start to laterally shift my heel left to right. So I'm going to shift my heel inwards towards my midline, okay? Then I'm going to shift my heel away from my midline. I'm going to shift out, so laterally. I'm going to shift in. Good, shift out. Shift in. Should be on that big toe here. Shift out. Shift in. Good, now shift out. Come back to center. Now we're gonna start at 12 o'clock. We're gonna start by going clockwise. So we're gonna go 12, 3, 6, 9, 12. We're gonna do that again. 3, 6, 9, 12. Remember, you're going in that circle with your heel. 3, 6, 9, 12. Now we're going to switch directions, okay? So 9, 6, 3, 12. Okay, let's go 2 more. 9, 6, 3, 12. Last one. 9, 6, 3, 12. Back down. Excellent. Now we're going to switch sides, okay? So we're going to be in that same stance here, just switching the legs. Okay, remember, and all that, your entire foot and that back foot is in contact with the ground the entire time. It doesn't change. Okay, so we're going to bring that left heel up. Okay, going to shift the heel in towards the midline. Good, now we're going to shift out. Good, shift in, shift out. Good, shift in, shift out, shift in, and shift out. Good, back to center. Now bring it up to 12 o'clock, okay? Let's start off counterclockwise. So we're gonna go 12, 9, 6, 3, okay? So 12, 9, 6, 3, 12, okay? 9, 6, 3, 12. One more. 9, 6, 3, 12. Switch directions. 3, 6, 9, 12. Good. 3, 6, 9, 12. Last one. 3, 6, 9, 12. Back down, and good. Okay, so now we're gonna get into working with the hips, okay? So what I wanna do here is I wanna work from a split position, working on that posterior anterior tilt, okay? So instead of being in the typical horse stance here, just wanna go with more of a split hip position. We've done this before, and so I'll turn to the side here, just so I can get a really good idea of how my hips are moving here. So I'm gonna have my right foot forward and I'm gonna have my left foot back. I'm not gonna take a really big split, right? But I do wanna make sure that on my right foot, I wanna keep my knee stacked over my ankle. Now with my back foot, I'm on the ball and toes of that back foot and it needs to be there, okay? Now the sticks are in line with my arch of my right foot or my front foot here, and my hands are at roughly about chest height. So what I'm gonna do from here, I'm gonna go in and out of posterior anterior, but has to do with posterior tilt. I'm gonna really need to drive that left leg back or left heel down towards the floor to squeeze that glute and work on that posterior tilt, okay? So, first thing we're gonna do here, we're gonna drive the six down with about 20% tension, okay? Keep the rib cage down, keep it under control. From this position here, I'm going to do a posterior tilt, tuck my pelvis in, and I'm going to extend that left leg, okay? Flex the quad, squeeze that glute, drive that heel towards the floor, and then I'm gonna ease off, bend the leg, and now I'm gonna do an anterior tilt. So I'm tilting in opposite direction. So I'm really trying to get that control here through the pelvis. So I'm gonna do a posterior tilt again. I'm gonna extend that heel towards the floor, squeeze that left glute as I do a posterior tilt. Good. Now I'm gonna do an anterior tilt, easing off, okay? Want to see that feel that curvature in the low back, right? Good, one more time. Do a posterior tilt, straighten that left leg out, drive the heel toward the floor, squeeze that left glute, feel that glute working. Breathe. Excellent. You're gonna ease off. Now I'm gonna do an anterior tilt. Good, back to center, and switch, okay? So this is just trying to create a little bit of positional awareness, right? So, left foot is forward, still we're gonna be in that same position, and that left foot should be active, right? Not trying to be relaxed on that foot. You wanna grab the ground with that left foot here, okay? Keep an active foot. So, same thing, I wanna make sure that left knee is loaded over the left ankle here, okay? Six are in line with the arch of my left foot. I'm on the ball and toes of my back leg here, okay? First thing I'm gonna do from here is again, I'm gonna do a posterior tilt. So I'm going to drive the six down 20%, keep the rib cage and the scapula under control, okay? Now I'm gonna do a posterior tilt. I'm gonna straighten that right leg, drive that heel down towards the floor. Hold. You're gonna feel a little bit of a stretch in the front of the hip too here, okay? So we're actively opening that hip flexor up. Now I'm gonna ease off, and now I'm gonna do an anterior tilt. Tilt the opposite direction. Good. Now I'm gonna do a posterior tilt. Drive that back leg toward, that back heel toward the floor, squeeze that right glute. Feel those anterior hip tissues open up. Good, ease off that tension. Do an anterior tilt. Breathe. Let's go one more, okay? Posterior tilt. Drive that heel back down towards the floor, squeeze that right glute, keep that posterior tilt. Good, ease off. Now do an anterior tilt. Feel that low back get active here. And relax. Good. Okay. So now we're going to do here, we're going to shift over into lateral tilts, okay? So, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to get into the horse stance, okay? We're going to go back to that horse stance. And so, we're going to drive the stick down to the side that we're bumping up. Okay, so I'm bumping my hip up to my right, driving that right stick down. Okay, so I want to have the sticks in line with my big toe of both feet. Okay, again, arms are about roughly chest height here, shoulders down, rib cage down. Then I'm gonna do a slight posterior tilt. I want to drive both sticks to the ground really lightly, about 10%. And so I'm going to bump my hips up to the right, and I'm going to drive that right stick down to 30%. Okay, as I switch back to the other side, I'm going to transfer that drive to the left stick. So I'm going to come back to center. I'm going to drive my left stick down as I bump my hips up to the left, squeezing that left glute. Okay. Good. Now I'm going to bump my hips to the right, driving that right stick down, 30%. Okay. Good. Bump to the left, driving that left stick down. Good. Bump to the right, drive that right stick down. Good. Bump to the left, drive that left stick down. Remember, you're still pushing down that opposite stick. It's just at a lighter tension. One more time each side. Bump to the right, drive that right stick down. Good. Bump to the left, drive that left stick down. Good. Back to center and relax. Ease off. So now we're going to get into working with the spine here. So I'm going to put one stick down. Okay. And now we're going to get into a split stance position. Okay. So I'm going to have my right leg forward first. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to have the stick across my mid back. And I'm going to reach out as far as I can on the sticks here. Okay. Now I'm going to load that front leg by shifting my weight forward. Okay. So I'm going to load the front leg here. I want to try to keep my back leg straight. Okay. I'm going to squeeze that glute. So I'm just going to load a little bit. Right. I'm not hinging, just loading. And then from here, I'm going to pull the stick apart, and I'm going to rotate my left hand forward, rotate my body to the right, and I'm going to look to my right. I'm going to come back to center. Now I'm going to rotate to my left, driving my right hand forward. I want to keep my left hip forward here. Good, still pull apart lightly, 15%. I want to rotate to the right again. Good, now rotate to the left, drive that left hand forward here. Good. Rotate to the right one last time. Good, rotate to the left. Try to get that front knee in line with the mid toe. Good. Back to center. And now we're going to switch. Okay. The right foot goes back. Remember to keep an active foot here. Okay. So, same thing. I want to keep that back leg straight, keep that glute tight, right? I want to load that front leg just a little bit. Pull the stick apart. Just rotate to the left first. Rotate towards that front leg. Remember, drive that right hand forward and across. Good. Now we're going to rotate to the right. Good. Rotate to the left. Drive that right hand forward across the body. Good. Rotate to the left, or to the right. Drive that left hand across the body. One last time. Rotate to the left. Still pulling the stick apart. Keeping that upper back active. Good. Rotate to the right. And back to center. And come out. Good. So now what we're going to do, before we get into the first strength training shoulder drill, we're going to do some dislocates. Kind of warm up the movement of the shoulder a little bit here, okay? So we're going to get back into that horse stance, and I'll actually turn from the side because, again, I want you to kind of be a little bit more aware of what my spine is doing as I'm doing this. And I want to try to keep as much of a neutral spine as I can here. So we're going to get into a horse stance, okay? Now, feet will about shoulder width, maybe a little bit wider. Just want to get to a position where I can keep my glutes tight, okay? I'm going to grip outside my hips, outside the width of my hips here, okay? And I want to make sure I keep my arms straight as much as I can. So, drop down to that horse stance. I want to squeeze my glutes, and I want to keep my rib cage down, okay? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull the stick apart, 30% tension. So pull apart, try to lengthen that stick, okay? I'm going to start to bring the stick up overhead, slowly. Going to come up as high as I can without letting the rib cage flare out. Hold, so pulling apart. Now I'm going to try to compress that stick in its overhead position. I'm going to bring it back down slow and controlled. Good. Once the stick hits your hips, pull the stick apart again. Keep control of that rib cage. Glutes tight, ribs down. Don't let that rib cage flare out. Hold to the top. Good. Shorten the stick. Bring it back down. 30%. Good. Pull the stick apart. Glutes tight. Ribs down. Keep that tension. Don't let that position go. Shorten that stick. Bring it back down slow. And ease off. And relax. Good. Perfect. All right. So that's today's warm-up. So now we're going to get into the strength training phase. So the drill I wanted to get into is almost like a throwing drill position, like throwing position here. So as we work through this drill, you may need to adjust however to whatever's comfortable. If the external rotation that you're going to put on the shoulder is too much, right, you can reduce that range of motion, right? You can change that position. So if it hurts, again, get out of that range of motion, okay? Or we can sub that for a different exercise altogether, okay? So now I'm going to start on my right side first, okay? So I'm going to have my left foot forward because I want to be in a split stance position here because I want to connect those entire, that sling system or the fascial lines together. So you can start with the stick in line with your hips and progressively move it forward. As you move it forward, that's going to bring you into greater external rotation, okay? So with my right hand, and I'm going to have the stick, again, in line with my hips here, I want to have my right foot back, okay? I want to be on the ball and toes of that foot here. I'm going to bring my right hand around, okay? And what I'm going to do from here, I want to keep my elbow down. So the grip is I'm gripping with my thumb down towards the floor here, okay, down towards my shoulder. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep my elbow to the side. Want to make sure my legs are loaded. I'm squeezing that right glute. I'm driving the stick down. And then I'm going to act as if I'm throwing. So I'm going to have my left arm straight out. And I'm going to drive my right hand forward. Let's start at 50%. Good, breathe, 3, 2, 1, ease off. Good. Now we can get into greater external rotation. I'm going to bring the bottom of the stick to roughly about in line with my heel of my front foot here. Okay, still gripping that stick like so. Elbows out to the side, thumb down towards the floor. I'm going to drive that stick into the floor first, okay? And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to actually increase that tension to 60%. So from here, okay, drive the stick down, and I want to try to create a bow on that stick here. Left arm out in front, squeezing that right glute. Make sure you keep that glute tight the entire time. Hold. Three, 2, 1, good, ease off. We're gonna go one more time here, okay? Shake off your shoulder if you need to. I'm gonna bring the stick now to the line of the toes of my front foot here, okay? So you can adjust your hand here if you need to, okay? So now we're gonna get greater external rotation on that shoulder, right? So, same thing, I wanna engage the ground first. I wanna drive that stick down, okay? Squeeze that right glute, and now I'm gonna create that tension. So we'll try to get that bow, so go, it's 60%. Hold. 3, 2, 1, good, ease off. And relax. Now we're gonna switch sides, okay? So, as you're doing this, you can probably see that this is like a throw, like throwing, right? So if you're gonna throw a baseball, it's gonna be here. So we're just getting to that position where we can generate that internal rotation a little bit more, right? So, I'm gonna start with the same progressions here, okay? So, left arms around the body here, thumb facing down towards the floor, okay, like a thumbs down grip. Still want to keep that left glute tight, ball and toes of that back foot. Want to load that right leg here, okay? So again, so arm out to the side, start at 50%, drive the stick down towards the floor, and try to create a bow in that stick. So try to get that left hand to go forward, right? If you're trying to throw. Good, 3, 2, 1, good, ease off. Excellent. So, move that stick forward if you're comfortable, okay? Same thing. Drive the stick down toward the floor. Good, create that bow on the stick, internally rotate. Drive that left hand forward. We're down towards the bottom of the stick here. Good, 3, 2, 1, ease off. Excellent. Let's move the bottom of the stick out a little bit further, okay? And again, adjust your hand as you need to. Right. Same thing, drive the stick down. Good. Now drive that hand forward, try to create that bow on the stick. Breathe. Good, 3, 2, 1, ease off, and relax. Good, okay. So now we're gonna get that second stick here. We're gonna get into a hip drill. So, we are familiar with the Captain Morgan. So we're gonna do the Captain Morgan. We're gonna do the Captain Morgan with knee extension, okay? So we're gonna really challenge that rec fem and some of those anterior tissues in the quad, all right? So, what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna start with my right hip. I wanna have the left stick at 12 o'clock. I want to have this right stick here at roughly about 2 o'clock. Again, you can adjust the position of the stick to whatever you need it to be, okay? So just want to find a position or a stick placement that's going to be most comfortable for you. So I want to start with my feet together, okay? I want to keep my hands at shoulder height, or about roughly shoulder to chest height here, okay? Now, I want my arms straight, and again, you can adjust this right arm if you need to make contact with the stick. So from here, I want to keep both shoulders down. I want to drive both sixes to the ground about 50%, okay? Just trying to get that activation. I'm going to lift my right leg up. I want to keep that left foot in contact with the floor, keep it active. Now, I'm going to move my right leg out, touch the stick, and now I'm going to extend that right leg, and I'm going to hold. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to bring it back in, bring it forward, and down. Back in and ease off. Good. Okay, so let's do a couple more reps here. All right? Same thing. Okay? First activate, 50%, drop both six down, push. You should be feeling those core tissues turn on here, folks. Okay? So, right leg up, active left foot. Bring that right leg out, touch that right stick. Extend the knee. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Back in. Bring it forward and down. Good. Ease off. Let's go one more. Okay? Arms straight. Drop both sticks down. Push. Bring that right hip up. Good. Bring it to the right stick. Extend. 3, 2, 1. Back in. Forward and down. And ease off. Good. Take a second there. If you're cramping, take your legs out a little bit. All right, so now we're going to switch sides here. We're going to do that same thing. And again, adjust as you need to, right? If you're finding that your hips are rotating for you to get your left leg to meet that stick, or the leg to meet the outside stick, you're going too far. You want to keep those hips facing forward. So you should be feeling like that opposite hip glute is working here, by the way, okay? So, same thing, arms straight, right six at 12 o'clock, left six at about 10 o'clock here. Right, drive both six down, keep a active right foot. Want to bring up that left hip. Good, bring it to the outside stick. Extend. 3, 2, 1, back in. Bring it forward and down. Ease off. Good. Okay, let's get 2 more reps here. All right. Arms straight, shoulders down, 50%, drive the sticks into the floor. Bring that left hip up. Good. Bring the hip to the outside stick. Extend the knee. 3, 2, 1. Back in. Bring it forward and down. And ease off. Good. One more time. Last one. Okay. Drop six down, 50%, push. Bring that left hip up. Bring it to the outside stick. Extend. 3, 2, 1. Back in. Good. Bring it forward and back down. Ease off. Excellent. Good. Okay. So now we're going to go to the floor for a core drill. Okay. Woo. Cramping here a little bit. Give me a second. All right. So what I want to do here, we're very familiar with this drill here. Ooh. Oh, cramping. So we're going to do a dead bug, but what we're going to do here, we're going to extend the leg, okay? Now, when we extend one leg, what I want to do is I want to rotate towards the side of the leg that's actually extended. So there's going to be a little bit of a rolling drill here, okay? Let's hope I don't cramp. All right. So what I'll do here, I want to have the stick roughly about over my hips, okay, right over my pelvis here. So I'm going to bring both knees up, okay? And I want to drive both knees up, or drive my hands down, get some tension. I'm going to extend my left leg out. I'm going to roll to my left. I want to get the end of the stick to touch the floor. Then I'm going to, under control, roll back over to my back. Bring that left knee, leg up, and ease off. So again, this is a rolling drill, right? So you want to make sure that you're doing this under control to the best of your ability. So you're always rotating towards the leg that's extended. All right, let's go again. Okay, keep that lower back flat. All right, we're going to go the same side. So drive the hands down. Good, get that tension. Extend that left leg out. Slowly roll to your left. Touch the stick to the floor. Slowly, under control. Roll back, and bring that left leg back up, and ease off. Good. Okay, let's go one more time here. Okay, then we'll go one more time on the same side, then we'll switch. Okay. So drive the stick down, extend that left leg. Good. Rotate, roll to the left. Slow, slow, touch that left end of the stick to the floor, slowly roll back, and bring the left leg back up, and ease off. Goodness, can't even talk right. All right, so we're gonna switch sides here, okay? And I'll actually rotate so my body is here, so you can also see how I'm rolling too, okay? So, same thing. Again, I want to keep the stick basically right over my hips here. Okay, bring both legs up, meet the stick, push down. Good, extend that right leg. Gonna slowly roll to my right. Touch the right end of the stick to the floor. Then I'm gonna slowly, under control, roll back. Good, bring that right leg up and down. Excellent, let's get 2 more reps here, okay? All right, arm straight. Drive the stick down to the knees, extend that right leg out, dorsiflex that ankle, slowly roll to the right. Good, touch the right end of the stick to the floor, slowly, under control, roll back. Bring the right leg back up and ease off. Good. Let's go one more time, okay? Whoa. If you're cramping like me, take a second. All right, last one, okay? Drive both knees up into the stick, push stick down. Good, drive that right leg out, extend, roll. Good, tap the right end of the stick to the floor, slowly, under control, roll back. Bring that right leg up and ease off. Good, all right. So that concludes the strength training portion here. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the deep fascial stretching. So I did mention that we are going to do a bow and arrow variation. We're going to do it seated because we're really trying to open up that lateral chain here. So I'm going to move the bench over. Here. We're only going to need 1 stick for this here, okay? So we've done the QO stretch where we are, this over a little bit more, sorry about that. We've done a QL stretch where we have one hip hanging off the bench, okay? And we're actually reaching, but let's actually generate a little bit of tension. So this is actually perfect. It's perfect to use a long stick for this one, okay? So I want to sit with my right hip off the bench here, okay? Now, my left hand, again, you're gonna have to adjust as you need to, right? But what the main purpose is, we're trying to drive those hands out, really drive that hip down towards the floor to really lengthen that entire lateral chain here. So we're gonna start here, okay? My right glute is off the bench, okay? I'm gonna start with my left hand roughly about where my rib height is, okay? I'm gonna reach up over the top, thumb facing down grip, okay, on the right hand. I'm gonna drop my right hip off the bench here, okay? And then what we're gonna do from here, I'm gonna drive my hands out. If you don't fully extend your hand, that's fine, but we're getting a lot of lengthening on that lateral chain here. 3, 2, 1, good. Ease off. Good, and let's do that again, okay? So, if you need to, you can also switch your hand up here if you need to make it a little bit more comfortable, okay? So, same thing. Right hand up over the top, okay? I want to drop that right hip off the bench here, okay? Now from here, I'm gonna drive that left hand out, create some of that tension. 3, 2, 1, ease off. And let's switch sides, okay? So move this over just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. So now left glute is hanging off the bench here, okay? Stick is to my side here, okay, directly out to the side, just like a bow and arrow. Okay, nothing's any different. Gonna reach up over the top of my left hand, thumb facing down towards the floor. Okay, you can space out the stick away from the bench as much as you want to. So from here, drive my hips down and away from the stick and push. Hold. 3, 2, 1, ease off. Good. We're gonna do that one more time here, okay? It's a little bit of a different stretch, but you should be feeling that lateral line open up a little more and a little bit more in that QL here, okay? So, right, left hand up over the top, thumb facing down towards the floor, drop that left hip off the bench, extend those hands out. Good, 3, 2, 1, good, ease off, and relax. Awesome. So, we're gonna go to a standing position here. And so we're gonna get into a double monkey hang here. But we're gonna do it from a half kneeling position. So, this is where the pad comes in. So bring this forward here. Okay, move this out of the way a little bit more so I don't hit anything. All right, so let's start with our right knee down here, okay? So take whatever split is most comfortable for you. So as we do this, I do want to put an emphasis on really stretching out that back hip as well. So we are going to utilize this as not only just getting to that double hang, working the T-spine and the shoulders, but we're also going to shift those hips forward to get pretty deep into a hip flexor stretch position, okay? So what I want to do here, I actually want to wiggle my left foot out forward pretty decently. And I'll actually turn to the side so you can get a better view. So my back foot, top of my foot's into the floor, left leg is out. What I want to do from here, I want to have the bottoms of the sticks in line with pretty much right behind my left knee here as I'm kneeling. So 6 are spaced apart. I'm going to grab up top. Okay, I'll grab as high as I can. I'm going to drive this back foot into the floor. Okay, so drive that back foot into the floor, squeeze the right glute, and now I'm going to shift my hips forward, and I'm gonna create a hang here, but I'm also stretching out those anterior hip tissues, right? Now what I'm gonna do from here, I'm gonna lightly drive the 6 into the floor, and now I'm gonna rotate towards that front leg. I'm gonna rotate that left hand open and back. Keep that right glute tight. Now I'm gonna rotate back to center. And slowly come out. Excellent, ease off. Now we're gonna do that again, okay? You can reach your hands up a little bit higher if you can, or you can drop them a little lower, right, if you wanna get deeper into that hip flexor stretch, okay? So, same thing, drive the back foot to the floor, squeeze that right glute, shift the hips forward. Good, drop those 6 to the ground, 10%. Now I'm gonna rotate to my left, opening up that left side, reaching forward with the right. 3, 2, 1, good. Rotate back forward and slowly come out. Ease off that tension. Good. Now we're gonna switch sides. I'll show you from the front view, okay? So you should be feeling a pretty big stretch on the hips, right? On the hip flexor, so as you're also working that T-spine mobility, people. All right, so same thing. Back foot, top of the back foot is into the floor, okay? Gonna reach up top. Same thing, if one hip's tighter than the other, you may wanna start up a little bit higher so you don't have to get as deep, okay? So, wanna drive that back foot down, squeeze out left glute, and now I'm gonna shift my hips forward, get into that hang here. Remember to keep that left glute tight. I want to keep this knee in line with my toes here. Now I'm going to drive both 6 down. Now I'm going to rotate. I'm going to drive my left arm forward, open up my right side. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Good. Back forward. Slowly come out. Ease off. Good. Okay, let's go one more time. And again, you can adjust your feet, you can adjust your hands. Okay, same thing. Drive that back foot into the floor, squeeze that left glute. Okay, drive those hips forward. Get that stretch in the anterior tissues of the hip. Drop those sticks down. I'm gonna rotate to my right, drive the left hand forward, open up that right arm. Breathe. And 3, 2, 1. Good. Rotate back forward. Slowly come out. And ease off. Good. Stand up. And that concludes today's class. All right. Thank you for joining me for today's class, everybody. Hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday and happy Halloween. Be sure to check out the YouTube where we have more videos of our workouts. All right? Have a good weekend. Stay safe out there.